'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year.
Whoa!
For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see everybody 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Tell me when.
We are rolling.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1593, August 7th, 2025. 98 degrees on this day in 2001 and 45 degrees on the morning of this day in 1972. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
We're joined in the studio by Dan Pilla. Dan is an attorney who deals with tax litigation, correct?
That's correct. Oh, yep. I deal with people that have problems with the IRS.
All right. Now, we called you the other day because we got terribly enamored with a statistic that has not been proven to be false. It's true. In 1950, more than 50% of 30-year-olds were married and owned a home. And currently, that number is less than 15%. And from there, we extrapolated that that's a big problem with the middle class. Where are they? And I used this example. In 1974, I bought a house for $27,000. He's got his notepad.
Doing math.
I bought a house for $27,000. $27,000.
I hope I don't burn the place down with the math.
Yeah, that's the first note that's ever been taken in 32 years.
I bought a house for $27,000. We looked it up. $27,000 in today's money is about $175,000. But that house cannot be purchased today for $175,000. Outrageously, it might be a $500,000 house with property taxes that went from about, I think I paid about $600 a year to what, $7,500 a year?
78. I thought it was 78.
Okay, well, we'll call it $7,500 a year.
Okay.
And we became fairly flummoxed and gobsmacked and called you. And since then, we've learned some obvious things. There are more people in America. Supply and demand, building regulations. There is a political class. The closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, it's even predisposed to anti-home ownership, and they make it more difficult to own a home. But that still doesn't explain to us if the $27,000 house in today's money is worth $176,000. How did it get to be $550,000?
Well, I think the short answer, Joe, is the fact that the dollar's gone to hell. I think the single biggest explanation for what you've just described is inflation. And by inflation, I'm not talking about rising prices. Rising prices is a consequence of inflation. Inflation is the process of infusing additional purchasing power into the marketplace where there's no relative increase in productivity. Only the government can do that, and more specifically, only the federal government can do that, because only the federal government has the authority to print money. All right, so when they print money, like they did in this last round of massive government spending that happened as a result of the COVID disaster, right? Starting in March of 2020 into June, July of 2020, continuing through 2023, upwards of $9 trillion was pumped into the economy by the federal government through various giveaway programs. The food fraud stuff that you guys have talked about ad nauseum, right? Yeah. And that's not the only thing, and it's not even the biggest thing. This employee retention credit and all these various credits that the federal government created that were administered by the tax code pumped trillions of dollars into the marketplace. And not only was there no corresponding increase in productivity during that period of time, there was actually a drop in productivity because the bastards shut the economy down, right? They made everybody stay home. And so now we're not only are we not producing, but they're pumping all this additional purchasing power into the marketplace that drives prices sky high. And that's why we saw this massive inflation that occurred in 2023 into 2024. Gas prices went up to near $5.50 a gallon, and the real estate market, as you point out, has gone crazy.
So the real estate market has gone crazy. It has gone crazy at various times throughout history, but it's most recently going crazy because of the COVID spending.
I believe that the principal reason for the rising prices over the last couple of years is the COVID spending. I'm completely convinced of that. And I'll tell you something else, Joe. I would make the argument that, in fact, the capacity of government to print money, well, it's not an argument, it's a fact. The capacity of the federal government to print money is unlimited, and this becomes a hidden tax. It becomes a way for the government to actually strip purchasing power from the middle class, because a lot of the middle class, most of the middle class, don't have the capacity to just go into their boss's office and say, I need a raise, I need an increase in my salary here because, inflation is 20% or 30% or whatever the number is, 12%, pick a number. They don't have the capacity to do that. And so this really is a hidden way for the federal government to strip purchasing power out of the hands of the middle class.
Why would they want to do that?
They want to do that, Joe, because what we've got here is we are really I would say encompassed here by this Marxist attitude. And the Marxist attitude that's gripped America for roughly 50 years is the concept of transferring wealth from the hands of the producers to the hands of the government. That's what a Marxist economy is. A Marxist economy consolidates all three aspects of an economic system into the hands of the government. The three aspects of the economic system are production, distribution, and exchange. All right, those are the three things that drive an economy. And under the Marxist model, all three of those elements become transferred from the middle, from the producing class, whether it's high class, middle class, doesn't matter. It's the producing class that gets transferred to the government. And this Marxist philosophy, Joe, has gripped the economic thinking in America for some time.
But in the last 50 years, you've had Reagan, you've had George H.W., you've had George W., you've had Bill Clinton, who was, by today's standards, an extraordinary centrist.
Yes.
Are you telling me Reagan was in on this?
No, what I'm saying is that you can change presidents, you can change congressmen, you can change senators, but the philosophy of the thinkers inside the Treasury Department and the philosophy of the thinkers inside of the halls of the public policy makers, right? The policy makers, that doesn't change. That doesn't change. These people continue to just drive along.
It's easier for me to understand that on a local level. For example, the people we've elected to city councils in Minneapolis and St. Paul, most generally, if not exclusively, are not homeowners, for example. They're renters. They seem to find the nuclear family and heterosexuality somehow oppressive to people. And I certainly will admit that I'm having a hard time linking that to home prices, but home prices, that $27,000 house I bought, I got news for you. It ain't worth $550,000.
Well, you're right. It's not worth $550,000. And as a matter of fact, you might make the case, Joe, that if
I'm probably really angering the people who live there. For all I know, they're garage logicians.
But when you guys talked on Tuesday, Kenny asked the question about whether the gold standard has anything to do with these runaway prices. And I would argue to you, Joe, and this is a fact, that if a nation's economic system is based on a gold standard, the government does not have the power to print fiat money. They can't just turn the printing presses on and let it go, because that currency has to be tied to gold at some level. Now, let me illustrate something to you, and this is going to come as a bit of a surprise to you. You mentioned in 1974 that you bought that house for $27,000, all right? In 1974, the price of gold was about $34 an ounce. So let me show you something here.
God.
Let me show you something here. You take that $27,000 house, so do a little math here, and we divide that by $34 an ounce. What that is about 794 ounces of gold is what it would cost you to buy that house in 1974. You know what gold is worth today? Roughly $3,400 an ounce. So if we take the $794 an ounce times 3,400, that buys you a house that's worth roughly $2.7 million. So I would argue to you, Joe, that the price of housing has not gone up. It's gone down as measured against gold. And we could do this with anything. We could do this with a suit of clothes. We could do this with an automobile. Here's another example. Let's go back just a little bit farther and let me show you what happens with an automobile. All right. So in 1920, for example, ounce of gold cost $20. All right. $20 gold piece. That's what it was. The most popular car in America in 1920 was the Model T. It cost roughly $700. Let's call it $700.
Right.
Take $700, divide that by 20. It cost you 35 ounces of gold to buy that car in 1920.
Right.
Take 35 ounces of gold times $3,400 today, and what you got is $119,000. What kind of a car can you buy today for $119,000?
Well, many.
Certainly much better than average.
Right.
So as measured against gold, the cost of vehicles has gone down, not up. Gold is the standard. There's a reason they call it the gold standard, right?
But we don't have a gold standard.
We don't have a gold standard. We've been off the gold standard since 1934. We've been off the silver standard since 1964. And as a matter of fact, the United States closed the international gold window in 1972.
So what has outpaced? You say cars, no. Houses, no. What has?
I don't think
You
anything
can do
has,
this with
Matt.
everything. You can do it with food.
You can do it with food. Let's do it with a gallon of gasoline. All right. So we got what happened to my calculator here. So a gallon of gasoline in 1960,
Right.
Gallon of gasoline was roughly 30 cents a gallon, right?
I was going to say 25, but we'll use
All right.
30.
Let's use 30. Be a little conservative, right? And you were going to buy that. You're going to buy that gallon of gasoline with $1. Well, a silver dollar was currency in 1960. All right, so you could buy roughly 3 gallons of gasoline with $1 in 1960. Today, a silver dollar is worth roughly $28. Gas is what, $3.50 a gallon? So take 28, divide that by 3.5, and we get 8 gallons of gas for $1 today. Silver dollar. It's cheaper. Cheaper today than it was
But
in
the world
1960.
doesn't reflect that.
The world doesn't reflect that because we are on a fiat currency, right? They print the money, they distribute the money falsely drives up prices. The inflation of the currency falsely drives up prices. So the problem is not that these products have become more expensive. The problem is the dollar's gone to hell. The dollar is worthless because the federal government continues to inflate, pumping this currency into the marketplace, creating this false impression that people have the wealth. They don't have the wealth because now the bottle of water costs more than a gallon of gas did in 1960.
Kenny, did you have something?
The price of gold in the year 2000 was under $300 an ounce. Think about that.
Yeah.
In 25 years, it's gone from less than 300 to over 3,000.
Well, and it's really might be even more radical than that, Kenny, because in 2020, the price of gold was about $1,800 an ounce. So it's just about doubled in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's a reflection of this trillions of dollars of fiat currency and fiat spending that's been pumped into the marketplace.
Now bring us back to the 30-year-old couple who are married and wish to own a home.
Okay, well, now they got a couple of problems. First of all, they got the inflation thing that we've been talking about, the fiat currency. But they also have the tax problem, Joe. In the 1950s and 60s, the average tax burden of the typical American never exceeded 23%. I'm talking about federal, state, and local taxes. The total tax load was never more than 25%. Now today, that tax load for the typical American family, typical American taxpayer, is more like 45%. And if you live in a high-tax state like we do, right, Minnesota, California, New York, some of these eastern states, your tax burden is north of 50%. So half of your money is going to taxes today, which is a phenomenon that didn't exist in the 50s and 60s.
What about the tax rate being 90% in the 50s?
Well, that was a marginal rate, Joe. That was only a marginal rate.
I don't even understand what that means.
Well, here's what that means. We have a graduated income tax system. Right now, we've got 7 different tax brackets. All right, 10%, 12%, 24%, up to 37%, right? 7 different brackets. The income you earn in the 37% bracket, the income you earn is taxed based on levels of income, right? So the first $20,000 you earn is taxed at 20%. Everything over $20,000 is taxed at, or is I gave you the wrong number, but just to illustrate, the first $10,000, let's say, is taxed at 10%. The second $10,000 is taxed at 12%, right? So it's only that marginal bracket that's taxed at the high rate. In order to be taxed at the 91% bracket in the 1960s, you had to be earning well over $1 million at that period of time. The vast majority of Americans, very few people were. And the other, the other phenomenon is that, and this is off topic, but it's a reality. Very, very few people had the incentive to earn that kind of money. If you're gonna work, Joe, and you don't get to keep even so much as a dime of every dollar that you earn, how much effort are you going to put into earning that extra dollar that puts you into that top tax bracket? All right, so that's one of the phenomenons of a graduated tax system, which, by the way, a graduated tax system is a Marxist concept. All right, the second plank of the Marxist manifesto is to institute a heavy progressive income tax on the working middle class in order to transfer that wealth from the producers to the government. That's what the graduated income tax is all about. America never had a graduated income tax until the early part of the 20th century. We functioned on manufacturers' excise taxes and import duties and excise taxes and import duties exclusively.
So what the hell is happening to us?
What's happening to us is government is running away. All right, we just another example here. At the turn of the 20th century, the federal government never spent more than about $600 million, not billion, $600 million, and that money was not collected from an income tax. There was no income tax, no burden of federal taxation on the backs of the middle class. That's why the middle class prospered so much for the first 50, 60 years of the 20th century. The taxes were borne, as I said, by import duties and by manufacturers' excise taxes. Now, Trump was running around saying that he can replace all internal taxes with these external. Well, that's impossible to do it today because the federal government's spending $7 trillion. We only collect a couple $1 billion, a couple $100 billion from import taxes today, duties today. There's just not enough money. So you got the problem of the increased tax burden and the fact that we've got the inflation of the currency, which is destroying the middle class. It's bearing heavily on the middle class, no doubt about it. Now, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Well, let's go back to taxes. Why would the property taxes on that $27,000 house 50 years later be $7,500?
Well, look at the budget of the state government.
It's the growth of government.
The growth of government is out of control, and it's out of control at federal, state, and local levels. Every aspect of the growth of government is out of control. It's unmanageable and it's out of control,
and not held accountable.
And getting back to this Marxist concept now, there's such thing as economic Marxism.
Marxism didn't work anywhere in the world.
Well, it doesn't.
Why are we
work.
doing it?
It does not work. You're exactly right about that. And this is where we.
You know what Frank Zappa said? People don't like communism and Marxism because people like to own stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt about it. There's no question about it. And this is why economic Marxism never really took hold in the United States
because people were thriving.
Exactly right.
Without it.
That's exactly right. They were buying houses. They were buying cars. They were going on vacations. They had their television sets, all right? It was clear that the model of free market economy, I don't like to call it capitalism because it's really the distinction is free markets versus controlled markets, right? A command economy versus a free economy. That's the distinction. Everybody's a capitalist in the sense that all elements of production are capital assets. That computer's a capital asset. This microphone's a capital asset. Whether you own it or the government owns it, it's still capital used in the production of wealth, right? And so people had the capacity to create wealth, and they did create wealth, and they benefited from it. So what they realized is that they got to introduce cultural Marxism into the economy. Now, Marxism has two elements to it, and most people don't ever talk about the cultural aspect of Marxism. The cultural aspect of Marxism is gleaned from the Marxist Manifesto and Marx's writings in his book Das Kapital. And I don't imagine everybody's curled up with a copy of that. It's brutal reading. But anyway, the point is Marx attacked every aspect of cultural norms in the West. All right, you wonder about the collapse of the family. Why 30%, less than 30% of, or 15% of individuals that are under 30 years of age are married. All right, this is an affectation of cultural Marxism, destroying the nuclear family, destroying the parent-child relationship.
To what end?
To the end of destroying the Western worldview of life, Joe.
Why is that held in contempt?
It's held in contempt for and here's where we get to the core of this thing. Marx was first and foremost an atheist.
Plus, he was a failed newspaper reporter.
He was a failed newspaper reporter. He was a failed economist. He was a failed professor at the university that he taught at in Germany. He's failed. Never earned $1 in his life. Mooched his entire life.
Mooch, you beat hell.
He mooched his entire life off of his rich buddy Engels that helped him write the manifesto. Marx attempts to eviscerate Christianity throughout his writings in Das Kapital. He blames Christianity for all of these cultural norms, for all of these oppressor viewpoints that he had, and cultural Marxism is designed to tear all of that down. And what they did, Joe, is they infiltrated the colleges, and they did this in the early 20th century, and they brought these. They got these professors into these colleges that taught that marriage is bad, that having a wife at home working is bad, that having big families is bad.
Convention.
Anything conventional was attacked by these people.
If home ownership is bad and marriage is bad and a nuclear family is bad and capitalism is bad and achievement is bad and entrepreneurship is bad and property ownership is bad, then what is good?
Well, that's the irony of the Marx plan. In the Marx manifesto, you can read from cover to cover and not find an alternative plan.
What is good?
There is nothing in Marxism that's good, Joe. This is the irony of it. They don't replace free markets with something that produces wealth. They replace free markets with controlled markets, with a command economy that destroys wealth. There is nothing this is what is so troubling about how these people think. There's nothing in the Marxist model that serves as a replacement for the model that we have in this country and that the West has enjoyed, which has produced this wealth. There's nothing to replace it. There is no plan of Marxism to replace this stuff. All they do is destroy, and they don't raise up anything in its place.
You have a young candidate running for a Ward 4 council seat in St. Paul, very inexperienced. They all are.
Yeah.
Who wants the city to own a grocery store?
Sure.
Well, that won't work.
Oh, of course it won't work.
He's not very imaginative. No. That isn't a bright idea.
And this clown in New York that's running for mayor, he's doing the same
Mamdani.
thing. Yeah. And so Elizabeth Warren was endorsing this guy, as you know.
Of course.
And she's talking about the city-owned grocery stores. And she used a word that hit me over the forehead when she was describing, what was going on here. She says, we're going to experiment with this. Well, see, this is what leftists want to do. This is what the Marxists want to do. They want to experiment with your life. Right? This is your life that we're talking about, your capacity to raise your family, your capacity to provide for your retirement and to take care of your medical care and to do all these, to build your business and own a house. They want to experiment with all of this, Joe. And the sad reality is they've experimented with Marxism all over the world and it never works.
No, it never has. This might be a good time to tell people to get the hell out of here and move to Sioux Falls. I don't know how they're avoiding it in Sioux Falls, but the Sioux Falls Development Foundation welcomes you with a business-friendly tax environment. You can contact the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. You connect with resources to stop searching for a perfect business site. Start growing in Sioux Falls. Best small city for business and careers, voted by Forbes magazine. South Dakota is a business-friendly state. It's a great place to take advantage of these incentives. As the state's largest city with a population of almost 300,000, Sioux Falls has low business costs and a high quality of life, no state corporate or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, and no limits to what your business can achieve. Find out more at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
You might not know it from listening so far, but it is Positive Thursday. And as always, it's brought to us by Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care, located in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. Mike Schoonover with us today. Mike, I have a shameful admission. First, a proud admission. I'm the owner of 3 trucks, Mike. And the shame part, Mike, all 3 trucks need an oil change right now. All of them. All 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3. Oil changes.
What's the year of the newest truck, Kenny?
2016, my friend. You did the last oil change on that one.
So we're going old school, but I that brings up a really good point, Kenny, because manufacturers are now, okay, Kenny, how often do you change your oil?
I do it when it comes up on my dash and not a second before. And I figured out that's right around 5,000 miles.
All right. Well, that's with the synthetic oil changes, that's that 3,000 to 5,000 miles. I learned the other day from Quinn, my service manager, that manufacturers are now recommending that people can go 7,500 to 10,000 miles on a synthetic oil change.
Wow.
And I said, that's absolutely crazy. And we talked about it a little bit more, and supposedly there's been advancement in oil technology and better detergents and all that kind of stuff, and quote unquote better technology in the engines, which all I've heard is all the new engines that are coming out are crap.
Yeah,
and,
so have I. I was going to bring that up.
And the crazy part about it is, so we just had I had a really close friend that had his oil changed here yesterday, and his oil was low. He was burning oil, and it's a 2025 pickup truck. And so he just went with the manufacturer's recommendations of 10,000 miles, and it's like, hang on a second, we're burning oil.
Yeah.
The oil is getting dark. It's, that type of thing. So this is one of those things where big business, I'm wondering what the long game is here, because, Kenny, a synthetic oil change is anywhere from $69.95 to $125, depending on your vehicle. So what are they trying to do?
And the thing is, not changing your oil can only hurt you. Changing it often can only help you. It's good to see what's in the oil and what's in the filter. That's the big curiosity for me. When I pull that oil pan out from underneath, I examine the oil and I look into the filter and see what's going on in there.
Exactly. So, I'm thinking that here's this whole Big Brother thing saying that you don't have to do this, listen to us, and yet people are going to start having more mechanical problems. When you don't have your oil changed more frequently, your tires aren't getting inspected, your brakes aren't getting inspected, your filters are dirty, your average maintenance, and most people I know don't have time to, and plus, even if you wanted to check your own oil, you can't, because you can't even find the dipstick.
I just remember when you guys put that cabin air filter in my truck, and there was a whole environment in there. I mean, there were living creatures, and there was a little town and a dump area. It was really, really bad. Change your cabin air filter, folks.
Yeah. So, hey, GLers, if the manufacturer says that you should change your oil every 7,500 to 10,000 miles, don't buy it. Get your oil changed every 5,000 miles at least. So
good advice from Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. They've been at it since 38, the official shop of Garage Logic, and as you can tell, always rated as one of the best shops in the metro. SchoonoverBodyWorks.com, the website. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, guys. Thanks, GLers, and have a great Positive Thursday.
We're speaking with Dan Pilla. Dan is a tax litigator by trade. He's studied the tax situation in this country. He's on top of it. Let me play devil's advocate.
Sure.
What I'm hearing in an odd way is that the middle class might be wealthier than they once were. It's just that, well, no, that doesn't make sense.
And we don't have any money sitting around, Joe. I've got a buddy who makes about 8 times as much as me, and he's just as broke as me. Lives a better, higher quality of lifestyle, but has just as much money in the bank.
But I know people in middle class incomes. If the car needs new tires, they go get the tires. They go out to dinner. take in a concert once in a while. The kids are going to the schools the parents want them to go to. The kids have shoes. It's hard to identify the suffering, if suffering is even the right word.
Well, I'm not sure suffering is the right word. The question I would ask is, how much debt are they doing this with? You know, we got consumer debt in this country that is mimicking federal debt, right? It's astronomical. And I see this all the time when I evaluate financial situations that people are in when they come into my office and say, I got this IRS problem. I owe the IRS $150,000. What am I going to do? Well, the first thing we do is evaluate your financial situation. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you almost every time, Joe, it's not an income problem that people have. It's a spending problem. It's exactly what we got with the federal government. It's precisely. It's not an income problem. It's a spending problem. And government is a teacher in this respect. It teaches people how they should behave financially. And when the government behaves like this financially, it teaches people to behave like this financially. The tax and financial education that high school kids have when they graduate is at or near zero. Mm-hmm. It's at or near zero. You could go to one of the best business schools in the country. My wife has a degree from the University of Minnesota, Carlson School of Management, one of the top 10 business schools in the country, Joe. Mm-hmm. Came out of that university with that degree not knowing one thing about taxes. What she knows about taxes, she learned from me working in our business, right? And you can go across the board with this. People just don't learn anything about taxes and financial issues, and so they're reckless with this stuff. So yeah, they get the tires, they go on the vacation. How many people are doing this with credit? Kenny makes the point that he's got a friend that makes 8 times as much money as he does, and Kenny's got the same amount of money in the bank that this clown has. Why is that? Because the guy's spending everything he makes plus. And this is a problem with the middle class. They don't save their money.
No, the saving rates for people are pretty ridiculously low, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but if you look at the growth in consumer debt over the last 10 years, 15 years, and the drop in the savings rate during that period of time, it would be startling.
The other thing that we could play devil's advocate on are housing prices so expensive because of regulations, because of supply and demand, because of a lack of builders, because of the cost of materials, because of environmental regulations impacting the cost of materials, on and on and on and on. I suppose in 1915, a guy wanted to build a house.
He built a house.
He might have signed 2 pieces of paper.
Yeah, if that, he might have had just one piece of paper to get the title to the property, and then he went and bought the materials and probably cobbled it together. But I think it's a little bit of all of those things, Joe. And first of all, supply and demand. Supply and demand is always
there's a lot more people than there were in 1920.
That's true, but we got a lot of land that's undeveloped. There's a lot of places to put houses, no doubt about that. But you got these people that now think, and this is what's going on.
That's cultural Marxism.
That's cultural Marxism, where they want to make it so expensive and impossible to develop property. Out in Washington County, where I live, northern Washington County, these people are making it impossible for somebody to come in, get a piece of property, and build a house. They got their little slice of Americana, right? Their slice of heaven, and they want to make sure nobody else gets their piece of it either.
But so you're talking the Washington County Board and Stillwater City, but those are all your friends and neighbors. What happens to them?
And that's the $6 million question. These people come out of colleges, Joe, and they've got $150,000 worth of debt, and they're Marxists, right? They go into college as people with a very westernized worldview. Probably were raised in a Christian environment, if not an outright Christian home, certainly a Christian culture. They respected the rights of other people. They respected private property. They go into these colleges and they come out as Marxists. That's what's going on with the education system.
Kenny?
There's a piece in the paper. It was either earlier this week or late last week. Headline is $62K fee for one house fair. And it's a story about a couple in Rosemont that want to build on property that's been in their family for many, many years. I'm just going to read the start of one paragraph here. Rosemont residents who want to build on properties must pay $6,865 per acre in stormwater trunk fees before the city will issue building permits.
And to your point, Joe, this is a regulation factor. That cost of that is not supply and demand. That's regulation. All right. The builder, he's not making any money off of that fee. All right, this is government. This is government intervention.
That's a fee going to the government.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing that's really been bothering me lately, if you pay off your mortgage or you own a chunk of land or a home and it's paid for and in the clear, why the hell are you still paying property taxes? Right. My God, you paid all those taxes on the purchase price for so many years, and the value of the property goes up, and so does the taxes. You'd think once it's paid off and you own it, but you don't.
Well, you don't, and the reason for that is because of a title issue. All right, we have title in America that's called fee simple. Right, you own your house in fee simple. That's distinguished from allodial title. Allodial title vests 100% sovereign ownership in the title holder. So if you own property as allodial title, Joe, you are the supreme sovereign over that property. Nobody can put a claim on it. Not a real estate tax claim, not any claim whatsoever. But we own property in fee simple.
Well, I want allodial.
We want allodial. Now, here's the irony. The Minnesota State Constitution provides that all titles in the state of Minnesota shall be allodial title.
Really?
Allodial title. And they ignore it. The courts ignore it. The legislature ignores it. Certainly the local governments ignore it. Allodial title does not allow to happen what Kenny just described here. You spend your whole life paying off this property and you could lose it. You could lose your property in your senior years to delinquent real estate taxes after you've paid for this property your whole life long.
Happens all the time.
It happens all the time, no doubt.
Yep. Well, where the hell are we and where are we going?
Well, where we are is we got an education problem, Joe. How you fix this problem? It's an education problem. All right.
I don't have great hopes for that to turn around.
Well, it's not going to turn around in the government-controlled schools. It isn't going to. As far as I'm concerned, the solution is parents taking responsibility for the education of their children like they did in the early part of the 20th century. The parents educate their kids the way they're supposed to. And I'm talking about homeschooling. I believe that is a solution to the problem where you have, and there's a whole
that
movement.
Can't happen because of so many homes in disarray.
Well, there's a lot of homes in disarray, Joe, and this is part of the cultural Marxism that tore down the husband and wife relationship, got women out of the house into the workplace so they would have no choice but to put those kids in government schools. And it's a problem. There's no question about it. But the problem is solved in education, whatever that looks like, however we shape that up. I'm not sure either, but it's done through education.
Someone had texted me asking you about health insurance. Their health insurance went from about $600 a month before Obamacare to $1,900 a month now for a family plan.
Yeah, and that's that free health care we got through Obamacare. Everything's free now, Matt. So it
raised the prices
and quadrupled in price. Jesus. It's remarkable. It's just when the government gets its hand on something, it messes it up. There's two guys standing in the bathroom, both of them at urinals. And the one guy says to the other, I hope the government doesn't come in here. And the guy says, why? Why would the government come in? Every time something's running smoothly, they step in and mess it up.
It's the funniest thing you said today. You're not a funny guest. I mean, you're pretty straight-laced.
Well, Dan,
I'm a joker, man. I'm really quite a joker.
I'm sure there's more aspects to this that need intense discipline study. I'm buying much of this. All I've ever ranted about is the cultural Marxism. I haven't really been. I'm aware of the connection to economic Marxism, but I get back to this devil's advocate position that are we all pretty much leading the lives we want to lead? Are you?
Are you? I certainly am. Yeah, for the most part, no question about it.
Kenny, are you?
I'm not restricted.
No, not at all.
What would you change? What are you?
I want to retire when I'm 65, and if I live to be 90, I will work until I'm 90.
Are you working, Kenny, because you love to work, or are you working because you need the money?
I have to. Yeah, I have to.
John, are you leading? I mean, John, every once in a while buys a new guitar and goes to where are you leading the life you want to live, John?
Yeah, like Kenny though. I'm up there in age. I wouldn't mind a little retirement time, and so and I'll do this until forever if you're around.
But I'll say this, yes to that same question. But I'm fearful of what my 13 and 10-year-old son. What they're going to be faced with.
Yeah, that's the question. I got 2 grandkids, 5 and 3, and I'm concerned about them. And my daughter, God bless her heart, she's determined to homeschool these kids for exactly the reasons we just talked about.
Well, I wish I had more money so I could spend more. That's what I'm.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you like to save money, you like to pass some money on to your kids. I don't think you got an affirmative duty to pass money on to your kids, but it's
I'm told I do.
He's passing it on right now. They're not even waiting till he's dead.
So it's like the wealth tax that Elizabeth Warren proposed. It's like the estate tax, but they don't have the patience to wait till you're dead.
No, you know what it is, Dan? It's an experiment.
Yeah. It's an experiment. Yeah, there it is.
We're going to have you in again, of course, please.
Sure.
You're always our go-to guy for questions like this, and I appreciate
when
it.
we really
It's my
need some
pleasure,
uplifting news, Dan, we know we can
Yeah,
count
when
on
I
you.
want to have a happy show, I'm going to bring Dan in.
You got to be funny.
Well, there are good things we can talk about. The IRS has cut, not the IRS, but the federal government has cut 25,000 employees off the IRS's staff. I think that's positive. The Trump budget proposal for 2026 has cut $2.5 billion out of the IRS's.
At your place, and you help them.
And we help them, yeah.
Thank you. Dan Pilla. I want to talk to you about Bradshaw and Bryant personal injury attorneys because this is not necessarily unrelated. If you're dealing with insurance companies and adjusters, that can be tough to deal with. Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant and his team will explain your rights, represent you, and help you through a tough time. Mike Bryant is a super lawyer recognized by Minnesota law and politics. They're the Bible for that kind of information. I hope you're never in an accident. Bradshaw and Bryant hopes you're never in an accident. But if you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant at 800-770-7008 or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Your case evaluation, of course, is free. And please don't be a part of the problem. Bradshaw and Bryant says don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years alive. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey!
heart. Bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see everybody. 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
That guy take a bribe to cut the trip in half.
You guys are
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Bring us some carbonis.
Yeah. Here's Johnny Height.
No, here's Kenny Olson.
Here's Kenny.
Turn off all the microphones, Chris. Turn them all
I
off.
will not be silent.
I don't want to hear any of these morons talking because I got one of the best emails I've ever received about the Seafoam Bugs Be Gone. It comes from John, and I can't believe this. It's so good, I thought he was making it up. Good day, guys. I want to take a minute as I travel by Harley to visit Sturgis and beyond, eventually ending up on the Pacific in Washington and Oregon before heading back to the Twin Cities. My first night stay was in Redfield, South Dakota at a large Super 8 motel. Upon checking in, the guy at the front desk asked me if I wanted my bugs gone. I didn't understand what he was asking, and after a couple of repeat requests, he went to the back room, handed me a pocket-sized spray bottle of Bugs Be Gone, and said it was mine to keep. It made me smile to know that the stuff is everywhere, including Redfield, South Dakota. So I'm a bit cynical. I was impressed, but cynical. I did some research, some checking. There is, in fact, a Super 8 in Redfield, South Dakota. It's a 2-star joint. A weary traveler can get a room at a very reasonable rate and get a mini spray bottle of Bugs Be Gone to clean the bugs from your windscreen. Where to get Bugs Be Gone? Always a question, a topic among GLers. If it's not in the automotive chemical aisle of your nearby NAC Hardware, Automotive, or big box store, it's simple. Go to seafoamworks.com, order it and any other Seafoam product you may need, and have it delivered right to your door. A wonderful product in a travel-weary world. Seafoam.
Here's John Height.
It was brought to you by North American Banking Company. Vance Belter, accused of shooting and killing State Rep Melissa Hortman and her husband and of wounding Representative John Hoffman and his wife this morning, pleaded not guilty to federal charges in the case. The 58-year-old Belter of Green Isle made the plea in a Minneapolis federal courtroom after waiving the reading of his 6-count indictment.
Okay, Belter.
Two of Belter's federal charges carry the possibility of the death penalty if convicted. Prosecutors have not made a decision whether they will pursue a capital sentence, which would require the green light from Attorney General Pam Bondi. Belter also faces state charges, including 2 counts of second-degree intentional murder and 2 counts of second-degree attempted intentional murder. Belter's state case has been paused as the federal proceedings continue. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty is not seeking re-election next year. Moriarty announced the decision last night in a press release, adding she wants to work on, in her words, creating enduring change for the remainder of her administration, not campaigning. Her statement said, "I ran for this office to do the hard work, the work that desperately needed doing, and the work the voters chose when I was elected in 2022 by 16 points. We've become accustomed to elected officials who don't deliver results and ended up more invested in clinging to power than doing the work of the people. And that is not me. As I have weighed whether I wanted to spend the last year and a half of my term focused primarily on campaigning or continuing to transform this office, the choice became clear. I want to focus on running the office rather than running for office."
Well, Mary's a committed member of the Third Rail. I'm sure she has a landing spot somewhere.
You know, her quote, she's not wrong. Many people that get elected do want to just hang on and not really be productive members.
Mary's correct.
She's right about that, but she just wasn't very good at her job.
But she's not done completely ruining the justice system. So she got another year to do that.
Do you guys believe this? Do you believe that she on her own made this decision
I don't
all
believe
by
anything
herself?
she says.
Nope.
Right. Neither do I.
She was voluntold.
Yeah, I think she was given the opportunity to say whatever you want to say, but you're not coming back.
But Omar Fateh would bring her back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but that's the mayor and she's the county. Yeah. So,
well, that's true. Yeah. Never mind.
Sorry, Joe.
Details. St. Paul police announcing they're investigating a fatal shooting that occurred overnight outside Midway Saloon. Officers responded to the shooting just after midnight, found both the victim and the suspect there. The victim, a man, had been shot in his upper torso. Despite first aid, police say they were notified of the victim's death at the hospital around 4 a.m. The suspect stayed at the scene and was arrested. This is St. Paul's 7th homicide of the year.
Invariably, when these shootings are reported taking place outside an establishment, invariably I've never been to that establishment. This one I have been to. It's Pat Donahue performs there. Yeah. Stephen C's been there. It's a funky little scene in there. So I was disheartened to learn this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And more on your history of attending University Avenue bars in tomorrow's podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another person has been charged in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. Hussein Mohammed Farah was charged with 1 count of wire fraud, according to U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joseph Thompson. Farah, the executive director for the St. Paul nonprofit New Vision Foundation, used the organization to operate 2 supposed food distribution sites under the sponsorship of Feeding Our Future. He reportedly submitted false meal count sheets and attendance rosters to support New Vision's claims. In total, New Vision got about $2.7 million for meals supposedly served to children between February of 2021 and January 2022. Earlier this year, the New Vision Foundation was searched by federal investigators in connection with the alleged fraud. Farah is the 73rd person charged in the Feeding Future Our case, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. And the Star Tribune, reporting St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter has postponed his 2026 budget address set for next week as the city continues to deal with the fallout from a cyber attack.
Is that because he would have had to leave his house in order to deliver the speech?
Carter's address was scheduled for next Thursday, but now will be pushed off until September, according to the city. The address is typically a starting point for a proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The delay comes as the city is still under a state of emergency after hackers accessed city computer systems, affecting access to some internal systems and online services. In a warning to residents, officials said some fraudulent invoices claiming to be from the city have been circulating as people try to take advantage of all this. Online payments remain offline, but no late fees are being assessed. Other city services remain operational but have experienced minimal disruption, including parks and rec, libraries, and pools, and all 911 services remain functional. Governor Walz deployed the Minnesota National Guard Cyber Protection Unit to work with the city, state, and federal authorities trying to resolve the situation and mitigate any lasting impacts. Just what led to the attack still unclear, though it may have been, according to officials, some kind of malware software designed to damage, steal data, disrupt systems, and sometimes extort victims.
Such, are you buying that?
No. I don't believe anything anymore.
I bet I know who the cyber attacker was. It was somebody that maybe has a person that they know that lives in St. Paul, and they tried to navigate Robert Street, but they can't because that's under construction. Then they tried to take Kellogg Boulevard right outside the courthouse, but you can't because that's closed due to construction. And then they looked and they tried to go to Moe's, and the sinkhole has not been touched for the last month and a half.
Is that sinkhole still sitting there?
It's shut. West 7th is shut down there.
Oh, God.
How long ago was that?
Wait, they're not working on it?
There's a guy, he comes with the pickaxe every once in a
Got
while.
a flashlight.
Yeah, he
leaning
looks
on
at
the
it.
shovel.
Leans on the shovel, then just walks away.
Kenny, wasn't it you that said, they'll just put a cone in it? Just drive around
Evidently,
it?
that's what they
Yes.
did. Wow.
Why don't we take a quick break here and hear from Chris Reavers?
You know what we need? Let's have a drink, shall we? Harmony
Boy, I'll
Spirits.
say.
What?
And harmonyspirits.net. Go to their Facebook page because they're always doing a great job of updating both really cool cocktail recipes and whatnot. But how about this? Larry, the owner, sent this to me yesterday, and it's on their Facebook page as well. Good morning, Chris. Harmony Spirits will travel, Joe. This bottle from loyal GLer Nathan made its way to Alaska.
Really?
Ooh. It's the Wild Oats bourbon from Harmony Spirits. That's so cool. I don't know why that stuff I love that crap.
Bro should have ordered 2 right off the bat. That thing's not going to last long enough.
I was going to say, this one looks pretty empty.
Oh,
so
okay.
Way to go, Nathan. Also, this upcoming weekend at the Tasting Room down there in Harmony, Minnesota, they are going to have the Strawberry Daiquiri Slushy with all of the other delicious drinks that are available. Hope your summer's going great to you and all of the GLers. Thank you, Larry. That's the thing. If you're traveling out and about this weekend, it's going to be another beautiful, warm weekend. Stop in at the Tasting Room in Harmony, Minnesota, and say hi to Larry and Damon and the entire crew and get yourself some handcrafted cocktails that are made right here in the great state of Minnesota. But if you're not able to make it down to the Tasting Room, then go into your local liquor store and ask for the Harmony brand by name. Also, that rum, there's a special that's going on this week, and this is at the Lewiston Area Farmers Market. The cocktail of the week is the Pina Colada made with Harmony rum. Harmony rum and the Pina Colada. Anyway, say hi to the crew. Let them know that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Anywaystorage.com. That's our brand new marketing partner this week at GL. If you need secure storage, safe from the weather, the rodents, the prying eyes, Anywaystorage.com can help with a variety of shipping containers, both for sale and for rent. They have locations in Grand Rapids, Stewartville, Ellendale. That means Anywaystorage.com has Minnesota and the eastern side of the Dakotas, Wisconsin, Iowa, and then portions of southern Canada covered. They can do it all. This is a Minnesota-based business. You can stop into the yards to shop. This is one of the cool things. You want to see that shipping container and pick it out. Pick out the one of your choice. They offer 10, 20, and 40-foot containers, sealed, lockable, and perfect for cabin owners or you folks with undeveloped hunting property, farmers, all of you guys. You can leave your high-dollar valuables at your property with peace of mind, knowing that none of it will be harmed. Stop into one of the locations before you rent or purchase it. Choose the options, make the deal, and then they'll drop it off at the place of your choosing. Check out the website, make plans to acquire your own secure storage shipping container, and be sure to ask about the GL special. Always ask about the GL special. What do we always say? Tell them Garage Logic sent you. That's anywaystorage.com, anywaystorage.com.
Thanks, Kenny. In national and international headlines, Russian President Vladimir Putin said today he hopes to meet next week with U.S. President Trump, possibly in the United Arab Emirates. His announcement came on the eve of a White House deadline for Moscow to show progress toward ending the 3-year-old war in Ukraine or suffer additional economic sanctions. No location had been determined as of this morning, according to a White House official. The U.S. was still expected to impose additional sanctions tomorrow on Russia, according to an official, adding that a Trump-Putin meeting would not happen if the Russian leader does not agree to meet with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. The official did not specify whether the condition was for Zelensky to be present at the possible U.S.-Russia summit. Speaking of possible direct talks with Zelensky, Putin said he's mentioned it several times that he was not against it, said it's a possibility, but certain conditions need to be created for it to happen. The Kremlin has previously said that Putin and Zelensky should meet only when an agreement negotiated by their delegations is close. President Trump said yesterday he will impose a 100% tariff on computer chips, raising the specter of higher prices for electronics, autos, household appliances, and other essential products dependent on the processors powering the digital age. The announcement came more than 3 months after the president temporarily exempted most electronics from his administration's tariffs. The Republican president said companies that make computer chips in the U.S. would be spared the import tax. Meanwhile, the president began levying higher imports on dozens of countries this morning, just as the economic fallout of the tariff threats has begun to create some visible damage, according to economists. The important taxes are at a level not seen in the U.S. in almost 100 years, with Americans expected to pay an average of 18.3% more for imported products. That's the highest rate since 1934. And despite the uncertainty, the Trump White House says they're confident businesses will ramp up new investments and jumpstart hiring in ways that can rebalance the U.S. economy as a manufacturing power.
And Josh has a thorough breakdown, Johnny, of that at the end of the show that you'll hear today.
National Weather Service has received permission to hire 450 meteorologists, hydrologists, and radar technicians just months after being hit hard by the Department of Government Efficiency-related cuts and early retirement incentives. The new hiring number includes 126 new positions that were previously approved and will apply to frontline mission-critical personnel, according to a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration official. The NWS cuts have spurred concerns over how well prepared the country is to withstand hurricane season, which is just starting to heat up in the Atlantic. The staff reductions also have been scrutinized in the wake of the Texas flooding in July, with vacancies at Weather Service forecast offices in that area. Few health news stories. The Department of Health and Human Services will cancel contracts and pull funding for some vaccines that are being developed to fight respiratory viruses like COVID-19 and the flu. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing in a statement that 22 projects totaling $500 million to develop vaccines using mRNA technology will be halted. Kennedy's decision to terminate the projects is the latest in a string of decisions that have put the longtime vaccine critics' doubts about shots into full effect at the nation's health department. Infectious disease experts say the mRNA technology used in vaccines is safe, and they credit its development with the first Trump administration with slowing the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. Medical officials are worried because scientists use mRNA for more than infectious disease vaccines, with researchers around the world exploring its use for cancer immunotherapies. At the White House earlier this year, billionaire tech entrepreneur Larry Ellison praised the mRNA for its potential to treat cancer. With the cutting of this funding, that cancer research ends. Perhaps some good news in the fight against dementia. What sparks Alzheimer's disease, and why do some people with it never go on to develop dementia? Those questions have bedeviled neurologists for decades, and now a team of researchers at Harvard Medical School say they may have found the answer. Lithium deficiency in the brain.
Uh-oh.
You got to chew on some batteries.
Gotta get a battery.
Swallow a couple batteries.
The work published in Nature shows for the first time that lithium occurs naturally in the brain, shields it from neurodegeneration, and maintains the normal function of all major brain cell types. The findings, 10 years in the making, are based on a series of experiments in mice and an analysis of human brain tissue and blood samples from individuals in various stages of cognitive health.
Where do you get the lithium?
Well, the lithium, you can get lithium in pills. I had this same question and made the same joke in my head that you guys just did. Mm-hmm. So I looked it up, and there are lithium pills.
I wonder if there's side effects.
There are some side effects, just kind of normal stuff that you see on all the pills that you see.
How do you go about getting a prescription? What do you stroll in and say,
Probably
listen,
don't even
doc?
have to have a prescription.
You do have to have a prescription.
Oh, I see.
Also checked on that. It's actually used already as a mood stabilizer for folks who have bipolar disorder.
Oh, boy, I could use that.
Yeah.
Or man.
I'd eat those like M&Ms.
So it is.
Probably lose my job at GL, though, because I'd be so chill.
Yeah.
I think you guys want Psycho Candy, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
It is available. Yeah. So,
Well, I mean, is this big enough news that we're going to hear more about this, I wonder? I mean, this is a big deal.
They now have to test it on humans.
Yeah, mice.
Who's raising their hand?
I am.
Mice is
I am.
nothing.
I got a crazy idea, guys. Let's try this.
All right, Johnny.
There's nothing really funny about dementia.
No.
But it does remind me of the story where Uncle Frank and Aunt Florence, she didn't have her teeth in, and he was out gardening. So he came and he tore the house apart looking for her teeth.
Yeah, they were in her nightstand.
Nope. She came out about an hour and a half later. She had her teeth in, and he said, "Where the hell did you find your?" She said, "I don't know. I can't remember." And he just started smacking himself in the head.
Yeah.
Can I do one more story?
Please.
I know
Was
you
that-
guys
That
would be
wasn't a
interested in this
joke?
one.
No.
That was a real. That was
Yeah, I
honest to
thought it was
God's
a
I
truth.
was kind of waiting for the punchline.
No, that
too.
was he was just going crazy.
Maybe
'cause she
come up
wouldn't
with
remember.
a punchline for
See,
the
it's
next
a lot
time.
funnier if she would have come out and she was using her car keys as
I'll
her
walk,
teeth.
Or she had his teeth in or anything.
She
You gotta
might have
think
done
it
that
through.
too. She had a little sense of humor.
Yeah, that needs work. That
Florence,
one. It needs
okay.
work. Yeah.
A motorist clocked driving at more than 199 miles an hour on
Nice.
the Autobahn west of Berlin. Wow. A record high at more than 124 miles an hour above the speed limit. The stretch of the Autobahn there has a speed limit of 75 miles per hour. The speedster, who was not identified, was caught while racing along the A2 highway near Berg on July 28th.
Oh.
I did have... What's wrong, Kenny?
I can already see where this story is going.
Where's it?
I
Please.
can too, and I have a deep sadness coming if I don't
So
hear what
do
I want to hear.
I'm filled
Well,
with doom now.
Because you have an intrepid newsman, he had to research it.
Good.
Thank
You
you,
sure you're
John.
supposed
Thank
to?
you.
This
It
is what
was
they
not.
do.
It was not involved in the story that I found. This story, it wasn't there, so I had to go find other stories
Good.
about it. And finally,
What
was
was
able to find out
Bugatti Veyron?
he was driving and I will say this correctly, so I don't get the emails. Porsche Panamera.
That's
Panamera?
a
Come on,
family
what are you
sedan.
going?
I have
What
a
do you want
baby
from
seat
me?
in the back and a bunch
John,
of
I wanted you to
groceries?
tell me
hell is
McLaren
this?
or something.
Country
Come
coming
on.
to
Next
Germany.
time
Well, I'm
lie,
glad you
John.
found it. A Porsche Panamera, 199.
2-seater or 4-seater?
Matt, A Porsche Panamera is a 4-door car. It's
I
a
don't
family
know.
car. That's why you should use this.
I don't know anything about Porsches.
I know, that's why
I've never
you're-
had one. I've never owned one.
Jesus.
Anybody else here
everybody-
ever owned one?
For the guy
That
who
doesn't
always
stop
sends,
you from commenting on it, though, does it?
the guy who always sends me the emails, everybody on this show said Porsche, not me. I said Porsche. So I don't
Right.
want the emails. You send
Well,
them to
I'm
the
glad
other
you found that out.
idiots. By
Because
the
you
way,
did anticipate that I would be
Oh, yes.
terribly angry if I didn't know the car.
well, and I was curious, too.
Yeah,
I thought,
good,
well, what was he
good.
driving? The driver, by the way, got a $1,043 fine. 2 points from his driver's license were taken away, and he was banned for driving for 3 months.
Wow.
Didn't you, Joe? You were on the Autobahn. Did you hit the ground like you hit 81 or something on the Autobahn?
Well, it was in kilometers, so, probably
So
going
who knows?
100 kilometers, it was about 40 miles an hour.
What kind of person corrects you with Porsche and Porsche?
I do.
A good guy or a
No. And Joe does that
Precious?
on purpose because he's got issues.
I'm going to say Porsche. I don't give a bleep about
yeah,
Porsche.
because he's
Yeah.
angry at Porsche.
Okay, because that is a controversy where people get
It's
upset
not,
about that.
not with me. It's Porsche.
Okay.
So Rook, you don't get those emails? It's just me, Kenny, and Joe?
Yes. I never get emails. Nobody ever sends me emails.
Do you know how to say Honda or Toyota?
And it's not-
Nissan.
And just to let you know, I painted it, but it's a Cadillac. It's not a Porsche.
Oh, it's painted green?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. See, if you need a new garage door, do it now while the weather's beautiful. Get a new garage door put in during wonderful weather through Precision Door Minnesota. They serve western Wisconsin, the entire metro area. In addition to all the regular service calls you need for a garage door going on the fritz, they do install new doors. They send out a designer. That consultation is absolutely free of charge. They have models of doors for every budget, and there's a deal now for GLers. You're going to get $100 off a single door and $200 off a double door. I suppose that stands to reason, doesn't it? $100 a door. And it'll be great, and you'll love it. You can book online at Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com, or call 612-263-6985. Let Precision Door tidy up that garage before the bad weather hits.
'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed, and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Guess who's going to be on the boat with us tonight?
I don't know.
Our good friends from We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com.
Wonderful.
You know what? Here's the deal. GLers, you are really coming through. How about this? Mike Fredoloni told me that when they put the end caps in at all the stores,
Yeah.
they sold as many of the We Are Nuts product in the month of July than they did the entire calendar year of 2024.
Smart move.
That's
Why?
insane.
Because of the end cap?
The end caps. The
No,
GLers
it's
are
because of the advertising on Garage Logic. That's why the
That's exactly
end
right,
caps
Ricky.
are
Thank
second.
you. So thanks to all of you that have been stopping into your local Frattallone's and Max Hardware, by the way, also carrying the full line of We Are Nuts. But go to their website, which is, of course, wearenutsmn.com, and you can see every single wonderful snack that they have to offer. I've become a huge fan of the maple bourbon toffee almonds that were a huge hit with the family over the weekend when we were camping. It was fantastic. So go online, wearenutsmn.com. Put your order in, and please make sure that you mention that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic podcast. Joe?
I want to say something that will be considered highly insensitive to the euphorians and the people in Liberal Lakes and Diversityville, but I don't care if you're offended. That's too bad. We had a situation over the weekend where a 12-year-old girl went missing from Minnehaha Park.
Yeah.
Her name was Victoria Jackson, and she was said to be a diabetic, and she has an insulin pump, and her mom was worried she might run out of insulin. Well, that resulted in all hands on deck. 5-alarm fire. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's find this girl as it should be. And, you know, the mayor shows up. The chief's wandering around Minnehaha Park. There's law enforcement pouring in from every angle to give help. People in the community were helping. Where did she go? Where did she go? Well, she was at a friend's house, not far from the park at all. And I'm unclear about some of the information because this won't be reported the way it should be reported. It appears she ran away from home and was staying at a friend's house. She left the park on Saturday night at 8 o'clock and just went to the friend's house. Chief O'Hara said, "We're going to continue to investigate the exact circumstances of this. The friend's house is very close to the residence." Now, I'm a little unclear about that sentence. That means Victoria Jackson's residence, apparently. In other words, she was at a friend's house, and that friend's house was very close to her own house. And it's a place, O'Hara said, it's a place that the police have visited multiple times. And again, I'm unclear. Has the friend's house been visited by police multiple times, or Victoria Jackson's own house been visited multiple times? At a press conference Tuesday evening, O'Hara was joined by Fry. They both expressed relief that Victoria was found safe and back at home. B as in B, S as in S. She needs to be kicked in the ass, and here's another
opportunity,
bleeping occasion for a mayor to use his bully pulpit to do the right thing and say the behavior of this child was appalling.
unacceptable.
She put her mother if her mother was interviewed once on TV, she was interviewed 5 times. This is inexcusable behavior by a 12-year-old who should know better. The friend who accommodated her, who should know better. And again, the story won't be written because people are too afraid to write it because she's a black kid. So they're afraid to say anything. But what I'd like to know is, when she went to her friend's house and her friend said, "Hey, you're running away again?" Yeah. Did they remain unknown to the parents of her friend? And if not, did the parents of her friend bother to tell anybody?
Right.
And because this has happened before, did it occur to the Victoria's mom to go knock on the door of the friend's house and say, "Is Victoria here?" This is ridiculous. The way this was treated was ridiculous.
You're right. Running down the list of, do I call Jenny? Do I call Lisa?
Everyone. The right thing was done. People are decent human beings. We looked for this child. Amber Alerts up the butt on my phone, and every cop with a badge was on the scene. O'Hara's wandering around Minnehaha Park. The mayor shows up. Does the mayor take the occasion to take his bully pulpit and say this is the kind of behavior that we cannot abide in this city? Yes.
Okay. Let's just play that out. Let's say the mayor does that. You know what happens.
I don't care what happens.
Well, but he'll be appointed to he's running for re-election.
So what? Doesn't he have any balls? No, he doesn't. He does not.
I think they were cut off after that second win.
This is ridiculous. This was not a missing child. This was a case of bad behavior.
Yeah. She ran away.
Now, granted, she's missing, and that's horrible. We're going to find her. But it turns out she wasn't missing. She's at the neighbor's house. This is a bunch of BS, and we're treating it like the Blessed Virgin Mary came down here and cast light upon the park, and miraculously the child was found. Bleep you!
Well, what about the police officers knowing the
cops
home
working their
previously?
asses off? Are you kidding me?
Did anybody call the neighbor? Or the friend?
Apparently not. If I had to guess, because again, it's reported very poorly. If I had to guess, I would imagine that maybe it was the cops who went to a house where they had been multiple times previously and said, hey, is Victoria here? And then they found out she was there.
We got to make sure.
Yeah. And fortunately for the young lady, she had enough insulin and everything was fine. I mean, we got every drone manufactured in the U.S. was looking for this kid.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't even land commercial aircraft
Come
here
on,
'cause of
United
the
was
drone.
shut down.
No, I know you could. I just had to get that off my chest because, again, Carter failed to use his bully pulpit years ago with the girl who ransacked the postal store or whatever?
The UPS store.
UPS store. And here's a case where another kid acts up, and what do we get from the mayor? Nothing. And you wouldn't have got anything from Omar Fateh either. He would have blamed the cops. So there you have it. I had to get that off my chest. And
apparently.
Well, come on.
I don't disagree with you. I was just trying to provide a reason as to
the mother should be embarrassed.
Absolutely.
And now I have a vignette.
Wait. Noted.
Yeah, noted. We noted that.
I had mail to put in the neighborhood corner mailbox this morning. And as I approached the mailbox and got out of my car to deposit my mail, another old timer was walking towards me up the street, and he also was to use the mailbox. And he said, I wonder how long we'll be getting to do this. And I said, oh man, I hope it's forever. I love using the mail. He said, so do I. I said, I like playing office. I told him that. I said, I buy stamps and the whole. He says, so do I. I love it. And the irony was last night, on the Channel 5 Eyewitness News, we learned that Becker, Minnesota, I think has about 5,000 people. They're losing their post office. And they can't
really?
They can't get any, and it's a nice building too. And they can't get any answer as to what will either replace it or where they have to go to do their mailing or where they can go to get a what do you call those boxes in the mail?
P.O. box?
P.O. box.
A post office box, yeah. They don't know anything. They can't get any answers from the U.S. Postal Service. And I just thought, with that story, in this little vignette today about me and the other guy, that's an American convention and tradition that's slipping away. The mail is slipping away. The United States Postal Service is in overwhelming debt. Things have changed.
What are they going to do with all their pensions?
That's the problem. Things have changed dramatically, but I'm old enough to know that the post office is an American institution.
Okay.
It speaks to our way of life, and we're treating them with such casual disregard that they're going to go away. I don't know how the people of Becker, they interviewed the mayor on the news, and he can't get any answers. He writes letters, calls, no answers. The people of Becker, And the segment began with an 80-year-old woman in Becker who every morning walks to the post office. Every morning.
In anticipation of
Well,
just getting
she
her
said there's people there I like to say
social.
hi to.
Okay, so it's a
and-
social visit as
and
well.
for all I know, she had a post office box there. And
Did you mention the population? I think you did, right?
Yeah, 5,000 people.
5,000.
I thought Becker was way bigger than
There's
that.
towns all over in my area with less than 1,000.
I know.
We all have post offices.
I know. I think Becker's up near St. Cloud.
Stone's throw.
Isn't it on the way to St. Cloud?
Highway 10 on the way.
yeah.
Right up there on the way to St. It's near
About
St.
40
Cloud.
miles from me.
Do you pass the prison before or after Becker?
After.
After?
Well, after,
If you're
yeah.
westbound, after.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? I thought Becker's where they have all those
Furniture store.
furniture stores and stuff.
Right.
Becker Furniture World.
That's
correct.
not.
It's a
You
world.
don't pass the prison.
It's not
No,
past
you
the
weren't
prison
listening.
at all if you're going west. It's before the prison.
Yeah,
That's what Kenny said.
Yeah.
Bro, what you don't understand
I'm
is
not
it's
bro.
not a furniture
I'm not
store.
bro. It's an outlet.
Becker Furniture World. It's
It's
a
a
whole
wor- it's a world.
A world.
World.
They're
Anyway,
actually having a liquidation sale. I drove by it last night.
Did they have the big floppy oil change
It's
thing
the
going?
size of a football stadium. It's
Yes,
huge.
It's huge.
It's a
what
world.
is the store?
Yeah.
A world.
Anyway, that's my vignette. I've often said I'll go out along with cash, AM radio, the post office, stamps, telephones, landlines,
Cash might go out before you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bitcoin.
Buy gold, my friend. Buy gold.
Only because they come to us all the way from Africa. Think of that. Every day from Africa. That's the only reason we do this.
It's
know
a
why?
ways
I'm not
away.
doing this if they weren't coming from Africa.
Imagine if they send it by mail.
We'd be behind, wouldn't
Yeah.
we?
Take a couple days.
They come to us from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa, where the traveling Lymans live amid the hippos and giraffes and lions. It was on this day,
August 7th.
1898. The 13th Minnesota Volunteers arrived in Paranaque, Luzon, the Philippines, to fight in the Spanish-American War, and later to combat Filipino patriots led by Emilio Aguinaldo. Upon their return home a year later, the regiment's casualties numbered 44 killed and 74 wounded. On this day,
On August 7th.
in 1915, towed by the Ottumwa Bell, the last log raft passed Winona. The sawmills downstream soon ceased operations as the lumbering era drew to a close. Isn't that something?
That is something.
Well, think about that for a minute. I mean, we still have a lumbering industry.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not as madcap as it was. I guess the rivers aren't full of
Log jams.
rafts of logs, right?
Yeah, no one's log jamming anymore.
Well, and plus, Stillwater have log jam days. It was too successful.
No, lumberjack.
Lumberjack
Lumberjack.
days.
Yeah, we'll be able to see that. Maybe you can tell some stories
Thought it was,
tonight.
thought it was
Being on
log
the
jam
river.
day.
I think there was a movie out called that.
Log jamming?
Yeah.
On this day,
August 7th.
Yeah.
1942.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday to Garrison Keillor.
He's a nihilist. He doesn't care.
He was born on this day in Anoka. On this day,
On August 7th.
in 2015, after reaching the mandatory retirement age of 70, that must mean that Alan's now 80, huh? After reaching the mandatory retirement age of 70, former Viking Alan Page retired from the Minnesota Supreme Court. Page served on the court for 22 years.
Wow.
And
What'd you think of Log Jamming 3, The Golden Years? Was that?
Uli wasn't starring in that one, though, right? He was only in the first two.
Yes.
Yeah.
on this day in sports disappointment history,
August 7th.
On August 7th, 2005, Shannon Stewart gave a ball to a fan with only 2 outs.
With 2 outs. I remember that.
Whoopsies.
That happens a lot more often in baseball, though, than
That's
you
a
think.
sports disappointment,
That's
isn't
pretty
it?
funny.
Was Shannon Stewart a twin?
Yes.
Yes.
So
he was the one that.
Wouldn't you just put a new ball into play?
Well, no. If there's runners on, it's the live ball.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Sports disappointment history on this day.
On August 7th.
In 2020. I have no idea what this means. August 7th? Wild lost to Vancouver in bubble playoff series?
Yeah. Remember that? That was COVID.
But we were playing hockey in August?
Yes, because remember we had, what, a 2-month break from all sporting events?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, because the NBA had their bubble playoffs in, was it Orlando?
Oh, for Pete's sake. When was the Stanley Cup champion crowned?
I'd have to look it up. I don't remember.
And this is a very odd disappointment. On this day.
On August 7th.
In 2022, Rocco Baldelli lost his mind after overturned call.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
He went nuts.
I'm trying to remember.
He lost his mind.
I don't remember.
On this day.
On August 7th.
In 2022, Rocco Baldelli lost his mind. I wish he'd do that more often.
You're all nuts.
I don't have any reason to dislike Rocco Baldelli. Seems like a hail fellow well met. But I don't like a guy trying to win a game 5 games from now. Win today.
Let's go.
Hey, they just took 2 or 3 from the Detroits.
They did. Did that little short order cook come out and pitch again last night?
I didn't watch the game yesterday.
Yeah. I did, but I don't remember a thing about it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know, they give you that medicine, and the next thing you know,
you're out.
It's Thursday.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel. That's right. We've got a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. You can also see full segments, video shorts, behind-the-scenes footage. It's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube. And you can also search Garage Logic on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also sign up for the Daily Logician. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day. And it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. You can find out more and sign up today online at garagelogic.com.
You know what Les Steckel's wife was named?
What's that, Joe?
Tess.
Tess Steckel.
Oh. Thanks, Tommy.
On your marks.
Thanks, Jordy. Thanks, Kelsey.
Couldn't resist.